But no worries claims a certain precedence. I am in charge and instruct you not to feel anxiety about frustrating my wishes. Child, you're not in charge. Try, thanks, I understand, I hope another time. First-name culture is fully established. It is vulgar and inhuman. It shows disrespect for person and privacy and the mature experience as it is assaultive. A first name is what you are called by your intimates, by friends and lovers. It does not belong in a stranger's mouth. I may grant you permission to use it, that is my right. But you cannot seize permission. That is not your right. What the New World doesn't understand is that when you address us as Miss, Mrs., Ms., or Mr., we usually say, feel free to use my first name, because we are democratic, egalitarian, and fear the guillotine. But we're pleased when someone asks permission and respond with the grateful effulgence of the losing side. I am not calling for a new refinement. That is beyond my capacity and your ability. It is possible you're entrenched in a sort of narrow passage of bad taste from which no earthly force can dislodge you. Great nations have fallen over less. I am merely suggesting a less selfish and vulgar way of being. Surely you can consider that. If a political figure should come by whose slate consisted of America, reclaim your manners, he would break through and win in a landslide. Because everyone in this country suffers, literally suffers, from the erosion of the essential public courtesies that allow us to move forward in the world happily and with some hope. That is the commentary of Peggy Noonan. I got it from lbnexaminer.com. You can sign up for that if you wish. Go to that website. I hope you found it rather enlightening and maybe you took something from it. Conversation Collage continues. Each year, it seems there are more changes to health insurance, making it more confusing than ever for consumers. Open enrollment season is beginning soon, so we've got an insurance expert to answer some important questions you should be researching before signing up for health insurance. Shauna Scaturo, the Director of Insurance Advice for USAA, is who we talked with. Sean Scaturo, hello.
Good afternoon, Ken.
I'm doing. How are you doing?
Doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. And where are you?
Actually in Phoenix, Arizona.
Well, here we are. Open enrollment season's coming along, huh?
It certainly is.
When does it get underway?
So open enrollment for major medical insurance begins November 1st and runs through December 15th. Mm-hmm. And annual enrollment for Medicare begins October 15th and runs through December 7th.
Why do we have different times? Is there a reason for that?
Well, it's really the two times are actually stretched out a couple of over longer periods of time, and they're a little bit less conjoined in the past. So this is one of the first years. Actually, I think last year was the first year that they started running them almost concurrently. But the two different timelines are really just set out so annually all of the various providers can be on the same calendar.
Okay, all right. So let's get to it here. Consumers should research their health insurance options. They need to do it on an annual basis, don't they?
They certainly should.
Why?
Well, as part of any type of good financial plan, you want to make certain that you understand what is keeping your financial plan on track. You've got all these different risks, all these different things that could send you off course, and certainly your health is one of them, and not having adequate health insurance only makes that risk even bigger. So it's important that you understand what your coverage offers, what kind of benefits are available to you, most importantly, what kind of benefits you and your family need so that you can assure yourself that you're protected against all of those risks.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the things we should be doing before we choose health insurance. What are some of the action items we need to take?
Well, just as I mentioned, understanding and kind of sitting down, having that conversation, looking through all the various coverages available out in the marketplace and seeing what is it that I need. So if you look at, like, for example, my family, I've got 3 young kids. I know that I'm going to need all of the various things that come with my kids being germ factories. But if I'm a young single individual, if I'm a young single male, I may not need things like maternity benefits that a qualified or an ACA kind of plan would offer. So the Affordable Care Act offers those really extensive coverages where what we're seeing more and more available in the marketplace, there are these short-term medical plans that have limited benefits. So it's trying to kind of balance between what those needs are, knowing that at the other end of that argument is, well, how much does it cost? So if you understand your needs, you can then understand, well, what are you on the hook for financially? Things like your out-of-pocket costs, deductibles, certainly your premiums, but you want to be able to not just have insurance, you want to be able to afford using it. The last thing I would want consumers to be doing is going to the doctor, paying for that medical bill, and being reliant on a credit card to actually pay for their portion. Having to kind of kick that debt can down the road versus having it saved for in a cash account that doesn't make their problems worse.
Right. So let's talk about knowing how much we can afford. I mean, that's a pretty tricky question, and then trying to meld it with how much we need.
Yeah, it certainly is, and so it's not. Unfortunately, how much we can afford, that's going to be based on everybody's individual wallet. Now, thankfully, most people in the United States do get their coverage through their employer. Hopefully, their employer is providing an affordable option for them, at least on the premiums. Where the affordability question comes in is being able to afford to use it. And so, like I mentioned, it comes with the B word. You have to budget for your out-of-pocket costs. Now, a good way to think through that is looking at what your maximum out-of-pocket costs are, because that's the ceiling. That's the most amount of money that you can pay each and every year for your insurance. And so if you can budget for that and keep that in place, then you certainly are going to be a lot more proactive than someone that's maybe just budgeting for their deductible. Not a bad behavior, but certainly one is going to be more preventative than the other.
Let's talk about health savings accounts. What are they, and why should we have one?
Well, so a health savings account is an account that allows you to save for medical expenses in a tax-qualified basis. So they're a very good, useful account. Not everybody can participate in one, though. You have to have what they call a high-deductible health plan in order for you to be eligible to participate in an HSA. But what they allow you to do is actually contribute money on a tax-deductible basis. You can invest it, the money can grow over time, and then when you use it, as long as it's for a qualified medical expense, that money comes out to you tax-free. So it lessens the overall hit of that medical cost. Now, you don't have to use them every single year. It's not a use it or lose it type of plan. So you can contribute to it. Let's say that you put in some money this year, next year, the years going forward, and you had a string of good fortune and you really didn't need any medical services for a number of years, and you've got this account. You can actually use it in future for planning for things like Medicare planning in retirement or even planning for long-term care in retirement. So they're a very versatile account.
Okay. You said high deductible account. Is there people? This is for people with a high deductible account.
That's correct.
What's the threshold on that, or is there one?
There is a threshold. For 2019, the high deductible health care plan threshold for a single individual was $1,350. For a family plan, it was $2,700 or more. So your deductible in your health insurance plan needs to exceed those values in order for you to potentially be eligible for an HSA account.
Okay, good deal. I think we talked about the various enrollment periods. Let's get them out once again. When are they?
So again, the open enrollment period for major medical insurance begins November 1st and runs through December 15th. And for Medicare for individuals 65 and up, that begins October 15th and runs through December 7th. It
really doesn't, there's no such thing as too soon when it comes to taking a look at these and getting ready for them, is there?
No, there is not. The more proactive that you can be, the better grasp, better control that you're going to have over your overall health plan. And I don't know about you, but I like being in the driver's seat versus just being taken somewhere.
Exactly. Shauna, where do we find out more about all of this?
Yeah, more information, like some additional articles, tools, and resources to make this conversation easier are available on usaa.com/health advice.
Sean Escaturo serves as USAA's Director of Life and Health Insurance Advice. He's got 15 years of financial services experience under his belt. And that will do it for this edition of Conversation Collage. I thank you for tuning in, listening, downloading, whatever you do with these. Keep coming to your favorite podcast platform and be with us for the next Conversation Collage. Go to our Facebook page. Check us out on Instagram. We are there. We're everywhere. Anyway, Ken Joannesen here. Thank you again for listening. We'll catch you next time. Be good to yourself.